Okay, so here's a great drill to work on lengthening, creating space for the front side of this hip here, all while teaching it to contract and control what's happening at that hip joint. So hip extension, we're going backwards through here, such an important motion for sports, exercise, and then just human movement in general, but it oftentimes is a big restricted movement for us. So what we want to do is teach the body to allow this hip extension to happen again and allow these muscles on the front of the hip that tend to restrict that to be comfortable with it, to be able to operate from that position. So what we're going to do is this kind of simple split squat from here. A typical split squat, we're going to go down and up like an elevator, but what we're actually going to do is come down, hold, make sure that we're in a position widthwise between our feet that we get a little stretch where you feel this front side of that hip opening up a little bit. You just feel the hip flexors kind of getting put on some length. What we're going to do once we get down there is hold that position, and then we're going to play around with trying to kind of drive the hip back out of that hip extended position. That being said, the hip's not going to move. So this is what it's going to look like. We're going to drop down. We find a good width or distance. I get this little stretch. What I want you to do from here is think about pulling or driving that knee down and forward, kind of this way. So if I let it happen, it would essentially almost look like this, which is going to activate all those hip flexor muscles. Now we're staying there. This is getting a lot of work done. This hip's working really hard just to maintain me here. But otherwise, it's this hip that I'm thinking about pulling, pulling, pulling. You can think about you're driving this heel towards this toe, and these two things are kind of coming closer together. And you're going to feel the front side of this hip light up a little bit as it kind of learns to go into hip flexion from this hip extended position. The more these muscles in the front are comfortable pulling you or being in a hip extended position, the more they'll let it happen naturally and will unlock some power in the back side of that hip along with some mobility. You'll also feel this front side hip working pretty dang hard, especially you start to drive that left side forward. You're gonna feel this kick on to kind of keep you in that position too. So we get this good kind of push-pull happening from both sides. When we've played around that position for a little bit, just holding that position 10, 15, 20 seconds, working up to as much effort as we can, what we can do is transition and add a little twist component to it. So what that's going to look like, same split squat position here, same idea of trying to pull this hip forward, but now we're going to add this overhead reach, turn away, and maybe even a little bit of a tilt away. That adds just a little bit more stretch to that same left side. And what we can do now is, again, teach it in an even more lengthened position to be comfortable there, to be able to control the hip from there, and it gives the body more confidence to allow you to get into the hip extension so you can get back out of it. Go ahead, give it a shot.